Hey guys, pt2 here. Now this is one that I've been thinking about for a long time because I made my, you know, the future of Love Dolls video a little while ago. Almost when I first Love Doll videos. And I've been getting, of course, a lot of good ideas from you guys, as well. When you post your comments and stuff, it's like, hey, I think the future's gonna be like this with Love Dolls. I think it's gonna be like this, that. And of course, I've accumulated a few of my own actually, as well, as I've had a little more time to think about it, you know. And I still pretty much agree with what I said in the last video, the first one. But, there's some other things I thought of too. Because as, these love dolls become more and more advanced and become more fembody and all that, which is going to happen, it looks like. We already know, again, like I said before, you know, love dolls are going to be a part of the future. They're going to have their own little area in the future, you know, to say the least. But what was I going to say? Here, I'll need to take a drink here. Anyway, so one thing that I also think, will kind of take into account when it comes to the future is things like VR. And, things like waifus and all that. Because, like that one video was stating that waifus were the future and everything. And, in a sense, they are. The only problem about waifus, though, is that not everybody really appeals to, an anime looking character. A lot more people appeal to something that looks a little more realistic. The more realistic something looks, the better, in my opinion. And of course, that will also probably be accumulated in something like VR. And in which case, they've already accumulated pornography in VR, But, as of course, as things get more and more advanced and more complicated, or easier to make, at least, it's going to be much easier for them to emulate something that's more realistic, it's more controllable, etc., etc., etc. So not only is there going to be a part, where love dolls are going to be involved, obviously, as they become more realistic, and they'll grow more popular because they're going to start looking more realistic and everything. So they're going to appeal more to people, as they start looking more realistic. But it's going to be the same with VR. As these 3D characters start looking more and more realistic, and as graphics get more realistic, etc. And so since video games, in a sense, and the characters are already more popular as is, in a sense, I think, what's going to sometimes get in the way of the popularity with love dolls sometimes is things like, VR. Where instead of trying to make a complicated, servos to make a robot walk and everything, it's like you already have a 3D character that can walk, right? Because they're having a really hard time getting these things to walk. They're having such a hard time just getting these love dolls to give a hand job. To give the right grip for a hand job. They're having a hard time. But for VR characters, they're already, they are able to walk in a VR state. They're able to grab things, etc., etc. And so sometimes, while I think a lot of people are going to go towards having something like a love doll, like us, and me. But, I also think that's, it's going to be cheaper for a lot of people and, more enjoyable for some people to go something like, VR. I don't just think it's going to be, everybody's going to have a love doll in their closets, like I've stated before. Because, why would they? I mean, a love doll takes up a lot of space. When I put it, my TPE doll in my closet, I really had to take, a lot of things out of my closet just to make space for my love doll. And I know for some people, they are not going to like that, sadly. they are going to want to make space for a computer, and have something like a VR. Whereas, they would probably rather just have, a virtual reality girlfriend rather than just having a love doll. Even though, obviously, I would prefer, obviously, something that is physically there, which is part of the reason why I like love dolls. And I've always also been a bit of a toy boy. I mean, what can I say? I've always just been into kind of, dolls and just stuff like that. Not that I have a doll fetish or anything, but I think you get my point. But, to say the least, I think that's basically what's going to happen. I mean, I also have, some people in the comments have stated, hey, how about, these fembots that can cook and everything? And basically be the 1950s version of a housewife, basically, is, of course, I'm sure a lot of guys would probably want, just a very fembody, pretty, robot that makes your food and everything, takes care of your dog, and so on and so forth. And also dresses the way you want and everything. But, excuse me. But, yeah, I think when it comes down to it, they're going to become, again, more popular. But at the same time, there's also going to be more options in the future, like, again, VR and other sources. But then again, VR might also be replaced by something like that is much more advanced version of VR, basically. You know what I mean? Let's see. Well, so I guess I'll end this video here. If you have any more questions or comments, just put them down. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.